Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Stick Rock Golf Podcast. As always, I am Jack and I'm joined by my co-host, Jake. Jake, I believe I sent you a text message yesterday, a day before, one of the, whichever one was New Year's Day, about golf. Now, we both played New Year's Day, but one of us has a dramatic reading of the scorecard.
Yeah, apparently we do.
Yeah. Now, you have no idea how I played.
Not at all.
I know
Yeah.
exactly how you played because I could see your scorecard, but the app that I was using isn't really like public sharing. It's not really like a social golf platform. It's just entering scores. So, you know what Chris shot that day?
I do. I know. Yeah, I do know exactly what Chris shot that day. And I have had a conversation with Chris, and I wasn't trying to find anything out, but I was just like, I've been told there's a dramatic rating of the scorecard. And he said, I'm not ruining anything. You're just going to have to listen.
Damn right. Yeah. So you sent me a text message literally as soon as we walked into the clubhouse on how to play. Obviously, you were watching Chris and saw that we'd just come through 18.
Well, and so had we, right? Like we had just
Yeah.
finished as well. So I was very much on the way of, well, we've just finished. They're going to be finishing soon. I wonder how they've played. And then obviously, yes, I got the notification Chris had finished the round, and I was like, okay, so this is it. Let's find out. Can't see Jack's score anywhere,
Yeah.
and I just
No,
get hit with the I have a dramatic reading of the
I
scorecard.
do have a dramatic reading of the scorecard. Yeah, so no big spoilers just yet. We'll save that for a second. It is now 2025 for everyone listening at home. We're actually recording this on the 2nd of January, where new year for myself.
New me.
Actually, it's new me, new golf shafts. Round of the year and first time I've actually played with these shafts. Appreciate you going and putting them together for me.
Yeah, well, when you said you had some new shafts, and I said, well, I've got some tools. Let's get them happening.
Yeah. Now it's been, even though we said we probably weren't going to get much golf in, you've had 2 full rounds.
Yes, yeah, I
I've
got two
had
rounds
one
in,
full
yeah.
round in the last week, and then we've both had a simulator round as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've had one simulator round and then quite a lot of sim practicing.
On the contrary,
We'll
I
get
haven't
into
been
that.
able to
Yeah,
practice for the last like week or so since I left my clubs with you. So it's been probably almost 2 weeks since I actually went out and practiced. Maybe even longer, just with like Christmas and holidays and stuff at the moment. But yeah, so we actually met up on Friday, Saturday.
no, no.
I don't know.
It was
It is the limbo in between Christmas and New Year's. I have no idea what day of the week it is.
it was
So it would
Tuesday. It
have
was
been
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. Yep. So it was
Yeah,
New Year's Eve that we met up. As I was playing New Year's Day, I came down to you, went out to the Burley Bunker with Luke just after you guys finished work. And I picked up my clubs and hit my new clubs with my new shafts for the first time in a bit of a practice round and a decider for us as to whether or not we were playing the next tour event. So we went out and hit 18 at Wentworth, and it went about as well as you could hope, playing one of the tightest, longest courses in the series.
yeah. I think it really was a decider. Being the fact that like I have unlimited access to that simulator, I'm still kind of undecided. But really, I'm looking more into the realms of not doing this round, just purely based on, hey, they've got an extra 100 meters on me in the drives, and then they're like pretty accurate as well. Whereas as soon as I'm starting to try and get like another 30 meters onto my drive, starting to lose dispersion quite a lot. A few double crosses you would have seen on Tuesday,
Yep.
and it's just
Yep.
it's not quite ideal for that type of course. Like
Not at all.
you could add up some penalty strokes, some OB shots there pretty quick. Like not too many penalty strokes really, but OB a lot.
considerably. So yeah,
Yes.
there's not a lot of like actual hazard. It's more the fact that it's you've got a honestly 20-meter wide fairway, 5 meters of dense trees, and then out of bounds on both
A-
sides.
and it's a 440-meter par four.
On a lot of holes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bit crazy in terms of difficulty, and I really don't think at the moment my game nor your game, depending on how you're feeling, is up to playing in those conditions and being comfortable and being able to shoot something like okay, even like as simulated golf is. I went and shot a 105. I think you had 100, and then Luke was playing the best of us, just putting them in
Yeah.
the fairway and taking a few to get to the green at like 95.
Yeah, it was rough. Definitely made me think quite a lot. But yeah, like I'm going to need to get some considerate practice in before, like I can make the decision on the last day of it, right, and then just go around and put my round in.
Yeah, effectively.
But yeah, I'm going to need some considerably low practice rounds to want to
To even
do this
consider
one.
doing it, yeah. So like, I've definitely think I've called it. Like, it is expensive to enter, and I really don't think my game is where it needs to be in order to tackle that sort of a challenge again. As I also need a significant amount of practice between now and the next time that I decide to enter something like that, which should come now that I've got those new shafts in my irons, and it is now the new year, and we've sort of relaxed on the amount of like things going on in personal lives. So no more driving to go and visit family and everything. I can look at getting back to. I'll go back to work next week after a bit of holidays, but that allows me to go and visit the driving range of a morning before work and get some practice in.
Yeah, the only real thing we've got going against us at the moment is some idiot's got an engagement party that's a 3 and a bit hour drive away, well 4 and a bit hours away for you, that we have to go to.
Yeah, I
But
mean
apart from
that's
that,
in three
yeah,
weeks' time, so it's not too bad. We've
yeah,
actually got.
that's coming up quick. Yeah,
I don't know what you're doing, but I'm playing this weekend, and then next weekend we have our first the club round. So the opener for our social club is teeing off like next weekend.
yeah. At this point in time, I've made a commitment to my partner and also to my coaches, golf coaches, vaguely said there, that I'm not going to play this weekend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Um, yeah, there is a lot of work that needs to go into my driver right now. As has been stated a few times on the podcast already, like I've been using the Callaway Epic Flash, starting to go back to use my Cobra Aerojet. It is definitely longer. That's one thing, but it is at this point in time not in play.
You're
So
really not doing you any favors.
no. So at this point in time, like I do get the whole decade, you're better off being, 30 meters further down the fairway and having a wedge in your hands in the rough or semi rough. I get that, but when you're also like 3 fairways over and trying to hit over trees, it's not helpful.
Really not helping you at all. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No.
So at this point in time, I do need to work something out with that driver. It may be a new shaft. Do have one on order. It may even be just like I do have another option up my sleeve that it's been rolling through my head as a yes, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. Right now, I'm kind of in the no, I'm not going to do it camp. Although last time I spoke to you, I was fairly in the yes, I am going to do it camp.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, I know exactly what you are talking about.
Yeah, which is the fact that I have been offered quite a good deal on a Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond, but throwing a lot of money at golf clubs right now is not really something I want to be doing. If I can make one of these two, if like obviously if I can get another 20 to 30 meters out of the Callaway, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. Or if I could get the Cobra dispersed a little better, that's actually way better option because like hey, I'm okay to be down there 30 meters 30 40 meters further but in the trees and punching out rather than like a fairway and a half across, like that just not helping at all.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rabbit hole you're chasing otherwise. So
Yeah,
not exactly something you want to be trying to chase your tail on coming into the start of a season.
no, and like honestly, the two rounds that we have of mine to talk about tonight, one was with the Cobra, one was with the Callaway. Yeah, there was a lot of differences when it comes to how I played with those clubs.
From what I saw, yes, it was two different courses, but they seem like a bit bipolar in regards to um, how you played because of the scores you shot. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything just yet because we'll get around to that. But
Yeah,
yeah, having seen the scorecards, different, two
very
different rounds,
different. Yeah,
two very different
two
rounds.
completely different rounds. Yeah. Um, in saying that, Jack, we have a dramatic reading of the scorecard.
We do have dramatic reading of the scorecard. Chris and I played Woodford yesterday, so pretty fresh. Just thought I would get out for a casual like morning round just before we went and caught up with some friends who lived in the area. Yeah, wasn't expecting much going into it. You know, new irons, new shafts that are pretty different to my last one. So I've gone from a 115 gram S Flex up to 120 gram X Flex shafts in a completely different style and feel. So I wasn't expecting a great deal. It was more of just like the first opportunity I could get out on a course and test them out and just see how they performed, how they felt like the works. Different swing weightings to what I was playing previously as well, as Jake can attest to. My last irons were a little all over the place in terms of swing weighting. We don't have no idea what the previous owners had done to them, but none of them were the same swing weight.
Yeah, it was. If we want to talk about something that's bipolar, I had D3 numbers, I had D1 numbers, I had C numbers. We were very all over the place.
Yeah, and it's as the fact that I am nowhere near a professional goes to show you that I had just gotten used to the fact that they felt completely different iron to iron and didn't even notice.
Well, it just would have felt normal, right?
As
Because
always,
it's what you're
yeah.
used to.
It
Yeah.
is that set of irons is literally the only set of irons that I have played since I re-picked up golf like 5 years ago. So there, really have nothing to compare it to long term. So you go out and test some irons here or there every so often. And of course, 7 iron sort of feels like a 7 iron, and I'm hitting things that are completely different. So I wouldn't really have noticed the major difference. But yeah, they were all over the place, which is a bit crazy. So we fixed that. They're all set to D3 now, which matches our 2 iron and a similar sort of setup to everything else. So we're going to be in hopefully a really good spot going forward. But I'm going to well, back to the round at hand. I'm going to fire some quick stats at you. Now, I had one blow up. I had a triple bogey on one hole. Other than that, I didn't have a single other blow up.
Okay.
I also had 2 birdies.
Okay.
One of
So
them
you
was
basically reduced your blow up with the 2 birdies. Yep.
One of them was an eagle putt that I missed by about a foot.
Okay.
I had 9 greens in regulation, 34.
Okay.
And if you've seen Chris's scorecard, I shot the same score as Chris on the front 9.
Okay. So through the front 9, what did we have?
We got a 41.
Okay.
And that's the
Not
9
bad.
that I did not have the triple on. Not the 9 I had the triple on.
All right.
I did score one
So
birdie on that 9. So we'll go over this 9 in a little bit more detail. We played off the first, so par 5 to start, down the hill, hard dog leg left. Really not a long par 5, but it is a 3-shot hole. Green and reg, 2-putt, par. Hole 2 is a par 4, sort of up and around the corner, bogey. Missed the green, so I landed it over, chipped on, 2-putt, par. Bogey,
so
sorry. Yeah.
we're at 51 right now.
So we're 1 over. Third hole, long par 3, par, 1-putt.
54. Yeah.
Fourth hole, 5, bogey.
60.
Fifth hole, par 4, bogey.
65.
I don't know why you're counting. This is just the front nine, so you're gonna get to 41 and you're gonna stop.
I thought, okay, so I thought
No,
this was your back nine. Okay, yeah,
no, this
right,
is my
right.
front
Okay,
nine. Hole 6, par 3, 4, hole 7, par 4, birdie, hole 8, par 4, bogey, hole 9, par 4, bogey. I'm at 17 putts on the front, 20. We then start in the back nine. So looking at the scorecard, I had three putts. Or
no,
no, two 3 putts on the front. 3 putts on
on
the
the
front.
front. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. With 4 greens in regulation, and those 3 putts were on holes that I hit the green in regulation, so I'm bogey in both those holes. The second 9 starts out with the par 5, really short one, really unorthodox. I put it to the middle of the fairway, had a 7-9 in hand into the green on a par 5, effectively rope hooked it onto the par 3 tee box, chunked the chip 10 meters in front of me, chipped
Oh, no.
it onto the green, and sunk a 10-footer for par. Really
Okay,
good.
so now we're at 46.
Now we're at 46. Par 3 next, only about 140 meters to the pin, bladed an 8 iron over the green by about 20 meters, chipped it back to the fringe, left the par putt short by about 3 feet and put it in for bogey before. The par 4 next, hit a 3-wood, drop kicked a 3-wood slightly, so it was in the fairway. I had 145 to the pin. I hit a 7 from there, landed it just short of the pin, about 20 feet from the flag, and 2-putt for next one.
Okay.
It's the 13th. You'll know this one is a really hard dog leg left, where you are forced to hit 5-wood-ish distance and have a 7 iron in, because it's too long to drive through. You'll go through the fairway. I hit a 5-wood off the tee. This was my worst shot of the day. Topped it after talking to Chris about how I hadn't topped it in a long time. So it only went 30 meters ahead of me. Chipped out back into the fairway, had an 8 iron distance into the middle of the green. Hit an 8 iron, caught a little heavy, ended up in the front right bunker, chipped it on from there in a 3-putt for a triple. So that's the triple on that one. So I took a 7.
Okay,
Par 5.
so at
Go on.
this point we're 4 over.
Yep. 4 over handicap, or no, the back 9 4 over.
Yeah, for the back nine, yeah.
Yeah, back 9 we are 4 over currently. Mind you, I shot 5 over on the front.
Yes, yeah.
5 next, 14th, up the hill. I hit a decent drive, had 220 into the center, uphill, took a 3-wood, hit a really, really good 3-wood. It pitched pin high and rolled out to the back of the green on a par 5. This is where I had my second birdie, because I missed the eagle putt by, I had a tap in bird from 25 feet, 30 feet. Next one, par 4, coming back down the hill. Similar thing, hit a really good drive, ended up right hand side of fairway, had about 100 into the flag, hit a soft pitching wedge, and pulled it a little, ended up on the back half of the green. I had 30 feet for my birdie putt, missed it by 3 feet short, and then put it in for par.
So you're 3 over on the back nine right now.
Yep.
And you've had the
16.
triple.
I have had the triple. 16, par 4, bit of a dogleg right. Had a 4 iron off the tee. Again, hit it a little, so I ended up a little bit short, just in the rough and left hand side. Had about 120 in. Hit a good pitching wedge onto the green. Left my birdie putt 3 feet short again, a little bit longer. This is a recurring theme actually for the day, is I left all of my lag putts about 3 foot short, if not more, and all of my short shots were offline in terms of putting. So I still parred the 16th after draining another 3-footer for par.
So still 3 over on the back nine.
Yep. 17, par 3. It's another 120 meter shot. Again, took a pitching wedge, hit a little thin, ended up back left of the green, about 15 feet for birdie. I lipped out So I followed Chris actually on this hole. Chris landed short right of the pin. I landed long left. We were chatting about a strategy and talking about you just aim for bogey on every hole. Sometimes you'll make pars happen, and then birdies just luck. Birdies will fall, as he's probably spoken to you about before. Now
Yeah.
he and I were a very similar distance away. He putted first, drained his birdie putt from like 15 feet away. I stepped up over my ball, hit, it rolled, lipped out, and I had to tap in for par. You're doing the math.
So did you break 80?
You're doing the math. You know where I'm sitting.
I'm very
We're
close,
only
yeah. And I know you've had the triple, and I know you had nothing worse than a triple, and you only had one that was that bad.
we're
You were
only
either
18th tee
par or
box.
bogey this last hole. So you par it, you shoot 80.
We're on the 18th tee box. I know exactly where I am. I know exactly what I've shot to get to this point. Feeling the pressure a little. I've been looking at the scorecard in my head for the last 5 holes actually, this entire 9. So I know consciously where I am. Now that's not getting to me. I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. Like, I was out for a casual round. I'm just gonna play it, whatever. Now the 18th at Woodford isn't exactly a difficult hole. It's only about 320 meters long, fairly open left and right hand sides coming into the green. I hit my worst drive of the day, unfortunately. Little bit of ropey hook, end up behind the tee box of the really long par 3 third hole on the front 9. Now, having no shot into the green, chip out puts me 30-ish meters from the pin. Chip on, hit a really good one, put it landed at middle with the pin right in the middle, and it sort of releases out the back. Now, I probably had, I want to say, again, sort of 15-ish to 20-ish feet at most for par. Hit it, comes up short, as it has been.
No.
Yep, so figures, I hit it, comes up short, and I have a 2-footer or something for bogey, so I tap it in for bogey to round out my 18-hole score on the first day of the year, carding a career best 81.
I don't know if to be excited or upset about that.
Yeah, look, it was a ride.
It's just, so you would have been playing off of 17 for the day? Yeah. And then you went and shoot 7
Over
under.
par.
Yeah,
Yep.
or 7 under your handicap, but no, 8 under your handicap. Yes.
Yep. 9 over par, 8 under my handicap. I shot have 46 points. I had 23 and 23 points.
Okay, so the big question, I haven't looked, has this gone on?
Not at all. No, I haven't submitted it to our handicapper just yet. But I dare say it will be in there prior to teeing off on our first club round, because there's no way that I give this to him and this doesn't go on immediately, because we both know what that's going to do to my handicap. Going and
I'm just looking
carding
at what it's taking off. It's taking off a 19. A
and I just replaced it
19.9.
with a
You're going to be off like
replacing a
15.
9.
I know
Yeah,
what a 12 did to mine.
yeah, it's going to drop me a
And you're
bit
taking
having.
another 3.
Yeah, so I've gone and replaced my next best score on the cards, which is a 19. The worst one there is a 19, so the best one's like a 15. So I'm replacing a 19 in terms of my 8 best scoring rounds with around about a 9 differential.
Okay, so Jack has fired shots first round of the year.
I have fired shots, turned my ship broadside, and released the cannons.
All right. Well, I also played on New Year's Day.
You did.
I also played on Sunday as well. I'm just trying to, in the interest of time, that's the more interesting round. I'll go quickly through my round on New Year's Day. It is pretty, it's pretty meh. There was 2 bad holes, but apart from that, it was not the worst round. I started bogey, doubled the par 3. I just, hit a really bad tee shot there. My chip shot released a lot more than what I thought, considering I'd hit greens for the first 2 holes and just, again, over just was not ready for the speed that they were at. Like Glades at the moment, the greens are running super, super fast and they are very firm. So I was not ready for the speed of them, and 3-putts came quickly. So that was 3-putt, chip on, 3-putt, and then I started to get the greens. So I had a par on the 4th, bogey on the par 3 5th, which was I just left my tee shot out to the right, chipped on 2-putt bogey. The par 5 I parred. The next par 5, double cross pull hook into the par 5 fairway. The 6th fairway. Hit a 7-iron, but I thought was perfect over top of the trees. Didn't hear anything. Thought it was perfectly in the fairway, leaving me about maybe a 7 or a 6-iron into the green. No, it had hit a tree, dropped down under the trees again, chipped out, 6-iron. It just, so if you remember that hole, I went up, landed on that left side of the green, and it just kicked left into the water, found the ball, dropped, chipped on. Then I had a 9 there. I then went a double on the next hole, which was great tee shot down the middle of the fairway, into the bunker with my second shot on. So 3 on, 3-putt, double bogey. Parred the 9th, 47. And then essentially the back 9 was the same. Par, bogey, double, par, double, par, triple, which was my tee shot on the par 3 was really, really good. I just landed it on the green, on the left side of the green again, kicked left into the water. So drop, chip on 6, and then I had a 5 to finish it out for a 47-46. Yep, there will be no further questioning about that round.
Yeah.
Yep. My tee shots were really good apart from the one that I double crossed and pulled across. But that has been the miss, as you know, as I'm trying to get this swing sorted out. Now that round was with the Callaway driver, okay? It was. Now, consistency-wise, I didn't really... I hit 50% of fairways, which is pretty decent, I think. And the ones that I didn't hit, apart from the one that was across in another fairway, were all in very reasonable spots, just missed left, rough type situation. I hit 39% of greens. I had 40 putts. I have apparently been playing... So I'm normally pretty good on the greens at Glades, but I've apparently been playing some very, very slow greens lately and not used to fast ones. So then we move on over to my round on Sunday at Parkwood. So this was with the Cobra driver. Now, I went par. Now, the bogey that was the first instance where the driver let me down. So I hit... Well, for those that don't know, I have a lot of trouble with my eyesight as it is.
Yes.
Yeah, especially on pretty glary days. I wear contacts and they weren't quite sitting right in my eye. Not an excuse for how I was mishitting it, because this happens quite a lot and I can still make good contact with the ball. But it went off to the right, pretty deep right. I wasn't really sure where it had gone to begin with, because I couldn't see. When we got up there, it was in GUR. So pull it out. The only place that we had as a point of reference for point of entry to GUR, it put me behind a lot of trees. So I went from in the GUR having a perfect shot at the green to being in a really, really bad spot, actually, having to chip under the trees. I made bogey. The next hole, I had a quad on the par 3. So I decided to put 2 into the water before going down, hitting... So 2 off the tee into the water.
Yeah,
and then went down to the drop zone, hit one from there, made a 7. The next hole, par 4, I was already saying, hey, drivers, maybe not for me today. So I'd hit driver twice at this point. Once was right rough, once was... when I say it was in GUR, it was in GUR, probably 45 meters right of the fairway. It was in a bad spot. So I was like, maybe driver's not for me today. Who knows? Maybe I'm not hitting my long clubs well. Let's try what Sherwood does. striped a 3-wood down the center of the fairway, kicks left like it does because it's a big sloping fairway. Money spot. I hit an 8-iron from where I was. It apparently should have hit a 7-iron. Chipped on, 2-putt, bogey. The next hole, I made a par. The next hole, I again probably should have hit a 8-iron instead of a 9-iron. I was a little short. Chipped on, 2-putt, bogey. Then I hit 3-iron and made a par. 3-iron down the middle of the fairway. I had a 9-iron left in, put it to, from memory, like 10 feet. Putted to 3 inches past the hole. Drained par. I then made an 8 on the 9th.
Did you pull driver again?
Did, yes. Yeah. I thought, well, hey, look, 3-wood shot was good, 3-iron shot was good. Maybe it was a bad shot.
Now, you end up in
the creek on the right.
18th fairway, or
the creek
creek in
between
between.
the 18th and 9th, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah, take a drop, punch out from under the trees, laser the green, 180 to the green, and I go, okay, I'm going to hit 5-iron at the pin. Everything had been moving a little left, and this is a bit of a common thing at the moment. Everything's moving a little left, a little. 5-iron directly at the pin. It's going to move a little left, center of the green. Well, I come and double cross the 5-iron into the water left of the green.
That's a rough green to be aiming at as well.
Yeah,
given how tight it is.
Yeah, well, the other option was hit a 60-meter shot and then have a 120-meter shot in.
Yeah.
But then so I took my drop, had 65 in, put it next to the pin. Yeah, walked away with an 8. I then started the back 9, fairway, green, par. Green, par. Fairway, green, par. And decided, hey, again, I'm hitting 3-wood really, really well right now. Let's pull the driver out. Let's see what happens.
We've just had 3 pars in a row. Let's find out.
Mind you, it's not the hole to pull driver on, realistically, but the tees were very far up. It was only 190 carry. It was 230 to the pin. Big backstop long. I was like, if it goes long, it's fine. It didn't go long. Well,
you put it in the water right
it front. Did. No, I put it in the water right long.
Ooh, so you've carried it a long way.
Yeah, and it just this is probably I'm not afraid to say that I've sliced a shot. It's not, to me, it's not a bad it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad omen or anything if I say that. But this was next level slice. This started, the tree on the left where you try to lay up to?
Yeah.
It started over that.
Good. Yep.
So we're talking 80, 90 meter slice here. Yeah. I made a 7. Yeah.
Rough spot to come back to from
very rough, yeah.
Way over there. I'm surprised you didn't just hit 3-wood again, considering how you've been hitting a 3-wood and you only said you had
it would have carried, right?
Yeah, you would have been well and truly over the water because the water's 30 short of the green.
Yep. Yeah. No, I just decided I wanted to try it. Anyways, the next hole I hit 3-wood, fairway, green, par. The next hole I actually did hit a bad shot with 3-wood. I was right side under those trees. Same spot I was when we played with the club. Yeah. Punched out on the green, bogey, sweet. Bogey on the par 3. I missed the green left. Chipped on, 2-putt, bogue. Par 4, bogue. The last hole I went 3-wood. So it was 3-wood, 5-iron, chip onto the green, and I miss the birdie putt. I then confidently walk up to tap in my par and make bogey.
Yeah.
So following along at home, that is a 44-43 for an 87. And we can probably, like, let's be generous and say I still make bogey on those 2 holes that driver really, really, really screwed me. We're taking another 4 shots off that score.
Yeah,
That is where I'm sitting right now with driver. It's
a bit all over the place. Nothing fair.
no, nothing fantastic. Can keep it in play but lose a lot of distance. Well, can keep a driver in play but lose a lot of distance.
Something in play. Yeah,
It's something in play over something out of play, but I'm hitting 5 iron instead of 7 iron, closer to 8 iron, and I'm just very unsure right now. I've got a lot of work to do. I'm not a fan of losing more golf balls because of it. So I need to work on it quite a lot. Speaking of, how was your golf ball count for Woodford? It seems like it must have been 0.
it was 0. So I didn't
Yeah.
lose a single golf ball. Like I said, my only bad hole was the triple I took on the I made a couple of just bad mistakes. So topping my tee shot wasn't exactly ideal, and putting it into the left rough really like almost in the left hazard wasn't ideal, but I chipped it out really good, hit a really recovery, hit my next 8 iron into the green pretty poor, so I came up short and in the bunker. Not a huge deal. Hit an okay bunker shot, just left it short because it was, pin was back middle and his bunker is short right, and then had an uphill left to right putt, maybe 25 feet, smashed it 8 foot past.
Yeah.
Pretty well the first time that I hit anything long all day. Hit it again, left it. Well, I trickled past the hole, but it was like an inch right of the hole. So that poor line tapped it in. So yeah, 3 putt. So bad tee shot, a less than ideal approach. Bad tee shot, really good recovery, less than ideal approach. Okay chip, 2 bad putts.
Yeah. So
There's 3 shots in that hole that I really could have gotten rid of. We'll call it 2 strokes on that hole that I could have very easily gotten rid of, including the tee shot and the 1 less putt. So even if I do still put it in the front right bunker, chip it on 2 putt from there, and take my first shot from the put it to the fairway where my second shot ended up, that's saving me 2 strokes, which brings me to a 79 overall. The other poor shot, the other really bad shot that I hit was my drive on the 18th. Now, it wasn't bad enough to put me in danger, but it did mean that I had to chip out and put myself back in a position.
yeah, okay. So
I reckon I genuinely have 3 shots on the table out there I could shave quite easily. The rest of them were pretty routine. I don't think there's really much that I could change. I could certainly put a lot of birdie putts closer or par putts closer so that I don't have 3 putts in the round. I could certainly, yeah, I think my putting in general, a couple of things that I'm taking away from that round is that my driver in a fairly decent place. Like, it wasn't super long or anything. I was only probably averaging 250 out of every total. Hit a couple that were out near 260, 270. Almost drove the green on the 7th, which is like a 290 meter shot to the green. I was on the front edge. That's where I made the birdie on the front nine, because I chipped it to like 6 foot and drained a 6-footer. Yeah, outside of that, like the biggest takeaways, talking to Chris, I need to be more aggressive off the tee, a lot, considerably more conservative into greens. My putting, my lag putting specifically, needs to be tightened up in terms of distance. So I need to land my lag putts far closer, put them at least inside 3 feet rather than leaving some 1 foot short, others 8 feet short, and then having to scramble to try and make a shot from there. And then my putts inside of 6 feet need some attention on their start lines.
yeah. Now, I have been talking with Sensei Chris.
Yes.
What does your, well, number one, have you got it yet? And number 2, what does your training plan consist of?
I have not, but it's definitely of the things that I've mentioned. I also have to work on my ground contact with my irons drastically. Now, I would say overall, the round at Woodford is probably the most consistent I have struck my irons. Doesn't mean it was good. It was a lot of things that were a groove to a groove and a half thin consistently all day. So I think out of all the shots that I hit where I didn't have a putter or a driver in my hand, they were all half a groove to a groove thin. Some were a little fat, some were a lot fat, but overall the majority of them were thin. If you take my, gross total, I would say 85% of them were smidge thin. Now, with rounds that we've played recently together, I was striking the ball better at Palmer Colonial,
Yes.
consistently hitting the center of the face more often. Yesterday, I was probably had the same consistency in terms of strike.
Okay, yep.
They were just thin. Which I chalk up to a fact that I haven't been practicing for the last couple of weeks. Haven't been practicing my depth control and my strike well at all for the last 12 months, longer, forever. I had put in a bit of work prior to going down to coughs, which has helped a bit in the last probably 12 weeks, but I need to do a lot more work. No, I need to get considerably more consistent at finding the middle of my up and down dispersion rather than just the bottom or just the close to the middle. I need something more significantly consistent that I can fall back on. I also need to work a little bit on my driver. Having seen the numbers from the TrackMan over the last couple of times we've played on the sim together, or we've hit a sim where my swing has deteriorated a little over the last 8 weeks, I'd say. Where I've been focusing on other things. It's in a good place, and I can comfortably swing my driver and my clubs, and they're going to go where I want them to go. It's just they're not optimal, not ideal. So that's mainly what I need to work on. It is a lot of getting used to those new shafts too, because they are vastly different to what I was playing.
Yes, yeah.
But I think overall they are a significant change for the better in terms of feel and consistency.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to take a long, you back to work soon, so you'll be able to get your early morning range sessions in again. And it'll only take a few and you'll be used to it. We are getting near the end of this episode. So, what is your current handicap as of the 2nd of January 2025?
Considering my great
Without
round
that
has
round
not
going
gone
on,
in
but yeah.
just yet. I started the year at 12:01 a.m. January 1st at a 17.8.
I started the year at a 17.2.
So we have 0.6 shots in between us. Now, I know your goals for this year and your training plan for this year are considerably more ambitious than mine are in terms of what you wish to accomplish.
In the wise words of Casey Stoner, my ambitions may outweigh my talent.
Yes.
But we will see where we go. So yeah, to list it publicly exactly as what I want to do this year. Now there is a stretch goal, and you heard right, it is now a stretch goal of being under a 12.9 handicap before July to play in the New South Wales Mid Amateur. The main goal for this year will be to be below a 14 by September, 14.9 by September to play in the Queensland Mid Amateur. That is the goal. However, the 12.9 would be wonderful.
Yeah. If we are putting numbers and handicap numbers out there, I've said this to you, but I do think that I want to chase you to that 14.9.
I honestly think I'm going to be chasing you to it after yesterday's round.
We will see. My hopes for this year are high, as they tend to always be going into a new round or a new season of golf, but my expectations aren't like, I don't have any expectations of where I'm going to end up or what I'm going to accomplish. I have things that I would certainly like to accomplish and that I want to accomplish, like getting down to that 14.9, which currently is a 3-shot swing from where I am at the moment to get there.
That's
Now,
correct. Yeah.
after what I've just posted, it might be a significantly lower gap between that. I will consider my goals achieved if I even reach 14.9 as my low GA handicap to be recalculated at the end of this year. Never mind that I may not stay there. That is a different question. But to even see that number on my GA at any point in time this year would be phenomenal. I think, not that I have any scoring expectations in general, but having seen what I could have done, I think a 79 is on the cards.
Look, it's one there for me as well. I want to have a round under 80 this year. Setting the parameters, it's got to be a par 72 course. So like I already have rounds under 80 at Talabudra and Chindera.
Yep.
They don't count.
It's got to be past 72 at
Helensvale
least.
would have to be under 77 for it to count for me.
Yep.
But yeah, it's got to be at least a par 72 course.
Now,
That is
for
one that
both
I
of us,
want.
we're talking about putting up a differential of around 8.
Yes, yeah. So that's there for the low handicap for this year. We're still on for it. I think the prize slash
Punishment.
penalty isn't gonna be as rough this year. That's what we're thinking.
Yeah, I think we did come to the consensus of, instead of one of us paying for the other's round as our first day of the Triple A at the end of the year, that the winner at that first round or at any round during our Triple A gets to pick out a piece of merch from the clubhouse.
Yes, yeah.
Now, we usually play 3 courses over that weekend. My thinking is, if you win the yearly handicap race, you're going to get to pick which of those 3 courses you would like to take home some memorabilia from.
Yeah, and realistically, you got to pick it on the first day, right? Because if your first course is the one you want it from, and we're not there anymore, well, you've missed it. So.
Missed it. Yeah, so it's got to be decided as of the before we tee off on that first round, which is when the bet closes effectively. So whoever has the lowest handicap by that point in time of the year will be choosing where they're taking a piece of merch home from for the day.
Yeah. Now, the other thing as well, obviously, so we're going to do a few mini majors together this year. We'll have them periodically spread out through the year. I believe that those ones we were looking at like
We've got
a
no
roll.
plans set in stone yet, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So something similar though. It might be like a rolling tally, and then we'll have something like it'll be a local round paid for, which
Yeah.
we'll set it like a course. It'll be like, hey, maybe it's a $50 course or a $60 course, not a $100 or $130 course.
Yeah, somewhere
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
closer. Now,
yeah,
the it might be, a cumulative stroke event over the course of 4 or 5 rounds throughout the year, in which each of those individual rounds we play a match play event potentially. We don't have anything set in stone just yet, but we're sort of thinking along those lines of how it's going to work, so that we both have not only a low handicap race to chase each other on, but if that fails, we then have a year-long cumulative stroke event where, if I'm playing really well at the start of the year, but you're playing really well at the end of the year, it could get quite interesting with how those numbers sort of creep up and meet each other in the middle.
yeah. I think so as well. And then undecided, but possibly maybe a road trip at some point happening, which will be its own thing if we do it.
Yeah,
Very
that'll
excited to do it, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in the works. Whether or not that happens is up to sort out financially and to try and fit it into the calendar. But we'll do our best to try and get on our road trip at some point this year. Where we're going though, who knows?
Yeah, we have our plans and we have the idea of a certain location, which would be awesome.
We have a couple of locations.
But yeah, definitely one location that should be happening. Yeah, but then yeah, the other location we were talking about, like that's a very good plan. But obviously, yes, financials are, especially taking both of us a week off work,
It'll be a lot.
and we're looking at some pretty pricey courses too.
Yeah, I have no idea whether that'll fit into the
Yeah,
cards, considering we both have a fair bit to save for in the next 2 years.
yeah, and I need to talk to my finance minister about that one.
Yep. Yeah, it's a bit all over the shop. But
Yeah,
that is it. That is our plans, our goals for the year. I don't know whether you have any commitments that you'd like to set in stone now and keep yourself accountable with. I don't know that I do, but I'm sure that I might come up with some in the next couple of weeks.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna commit to a outdoor round of golf a week, at least an outdoor round of golf a week, 3 dedicated training sessions a week with a targeted focus, and not as much sim golfing as in the way of, hey, I'm going to the sim to play 18, which it's like, it's not bad, right? But like it's just that I would much prefer to be spending that time working on finding a solution for problems I'm having, or just bettering myself and focusing on hitting better shots. Whether that's like, hey, this week I really struggled with low point. This week I really struggled with like hitting it really heely. Whatever that is, I'm sure through the year I'm going to go through a heely phase, a toey phase, a thin phase, a fat phase.
It'll happen,
It'll happen.
and it's
But
definitely
yeah,
drilling that in and getting to a point where we can work a way around that, or like know how to execute the opposite in play.
yes, yeah. So yeah, I just got to that's the probably the two things that I want to hold myself accountable to. Really, is like, yeah, I'm going to play once a week, and yeah, I'm going to do 3 dedicated sessions. Asterisks less playing 18 holes on the simulator.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you've given some of those, I think I can come up with some. I am looking at joining a different range. As good as Vic Park has been, it doesn't really have a short game or a putting um, practice area. So I'm unable to work on um, wedges to specific targets and distances over like or under 50 meters, and unable to work on like short chipping to greens and putting at all, which has got me looking at paying the platinum membership and joining Golf Central
yeah, okay.
to go
That
and use
yeah,
their short game practice area where they've got targets set up from like 20 to 60 meters, and they're like putting green and chipping complex, that sort of stuff. So looking at joining them to get that feel and that wedge matrix and those numbers dialed, so I know exactly how far I need to that I hit everything in my wedges from 60 all the way through to 9 iron effectively. I want to have realistically a feel for shots from 20 to 100 meters
yeah,
for
yeah.
everything.
I feel that. Yeah,
Get a bit of a matrix going so that I have options and don't resort to taking my 60-degree everywhere, because that's the club I feel most comfortable with.
yeah. That that's a good one.
It'll also give me an
That's a really
opportunity
good one.
to work on my low point control with a lot of those clubs, as well as my irons, because they do have a grass hitting area there as well for those platinum
Yes.
members, where I can set up my PRGR launch monitor and I don't actually have to like rely on the top tracer range bays. I can get out on the turf and just work exclusively on that ground contact without really worrying too much about how far I'm hitting it. Of course, I always still want to get on the top tracer every so often and just as a double check, sort of see what the dispersion is like
Yeah.
out on the range. But I think commitment wise, I'm going to work on that wedge matrix, that low point, pretty consistently this year. So that's going to be my number one focus, is getting those two things dialed, as well as putting and working on my putting as well, which is something I rarely ever work on because for the most part I haven't had the need to. Like, I can read putts well with my eyes, so I know where they're going. It's just my speed control on long putts has been decent, but not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, long putts are killing me.
Yeah, even though I'm my strokes gain. If you look at my strokes gain on the green, anything outside of 20 feet, I'm within tour average. But it's putting me in positions where I'm leaving myself second putts that I'm unable to make with a high enough confidence. And I need to bring both that lag putting confidence up so that I can get closer to the hole, but also that short putting confidence up as well, so that I change my 8-foot make rate from 40% to 45 to 50% instead.
Yeah,
Try and
fair
aim as
enough.
close as I can to that tour average in terms of putting, because that is the biggest difference that I can make. So if I can start putting to scratch, the better. Or the sooner I can do that, the better.
Yeah. Well, I've already made my decision to change clubs this year. I have a club in mind. It does have a very good short game area as well. I won't ruin that surprise just yet because I have to see. I believe I can finish my membership at Helensvale as of January. However, I may not be able to, and I may have to wait till July, which would mean it wouldn't matter. But yeah. So I am going to make the change. It is a little nicer course. Does have more facilities. Probably should have just done it to begin with. Yeah. I'm all cool with it. But yeah, it'll happen when it happens. I definitely need to work on lag putting as well, but I'm sort of good enough with my putter at the moment that it's like, hey, if I know what the speed of the greens are, unlike Wednesday, I'm genuinely pretty much two putting everything,
Yeah,
which is
don't get me
fine.
wrong. I'm in a similar
Yeah,
situation where I'm really making more than 36 putts, and if it is, it's one or two over that.
yeah. But apart from that, yeah, I think that is everything we have for tonight from
Yeah,
episode 1 of season 2.
little bit of a longer one, but there was certainly a lot to go over. We, as we did mention, our next club round is on the 12th of January, so in 2 weeks, effectively, for us. Now, I am playing this weekend again with Chris at Caboolture, another somewhat open course, so we'll see. I've got no expectations again, but I'm going to try and get out this week. Maybe what's today, Thursday. I might try and get out either tomorrow or Saturday for a range session, just to try and get a feel for my irons, and start working on that low point to bring it a little bit closer to center contact more consistently. But that's my plans for the next week before we meet up again.
No worries. My plans are, as I stated earlier, apart from playing around this week, I've already played 2 this week's just gone, so I probably won't get one in. I've made a commitment that I won't. But yeah, basically at least 3 sessions in the simulator to try and get things sorted. I did say that if I don't have things sorted with the Cobra driver before Virginia, it's not coming. The Callaway will be in the bag. I know I can find fairway adjacent with it. I know I can put myself in good spots, 9 out of 10 times, and that's what I will do. But the plan is to have the Cobra in the bag and to be able to hit it a little bit further. Because yeah, realistically, I'm not getting enough out of the Callaway. I do need to change, especially next tour rounds, right? Man, there's 100 meters between me and some of the long hitters.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I'd like to at least reduce that to 70 meters
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
we'll definitely see whether or not you can, in the next couple of weeks, work on that and get it playable before we do tee off in Virginia. I believe that has been us for this week. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been episode 1 of 2025. As always, I have been Jack, and my co-host has been Jake. We will catch you all next week.
See you guys then.